Greetings to everyone on this Holy Saturday, a very neglected part of Holy Week, but one of my favorite sacred days out of the year. I want to talk about what is Holy Saturday. It can be a challenge to define the significance, as it might apply differently to various people with various experiences and differing cultures. It's an awkward silence. We generally are uncomfortable with awkward silence, and we might even feel the compulsion to break awkward silence. And there's little to say for Holy Saturday. Throughout Holy Week, the Gospels give us a good amount of detail. On what we call Palm Sunday, each of the Gospels supply information. Then Mark does particularly well at defining the days of Holy Week, as we would call them, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And each of the Gospels give us a glimpse into what we call Monday, Thursday, and Good Friday. Then on Saturday, the Sabbath, we are left with many questions. What is the group doing? The disciple group. What is Christ doing in the grave? And we're drawn back to the book of Genesis, when God created. Then at the end of the week, on the seventh day, he rested, and we have no detail as to what that rest incorporated. And Holy Saturday, in a theological sense, is a rest. But that doesn't mean that there is no significance. Some people live in Good Saturday, in the awkward silences, particularly victims of trauma. For those people, Good Friday is over. However, the new week hardly ever comes. We tend to focus many times in grief on the 23rd Psalm, well known and well attested. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. At a funeral service, the minister is most often expected to read that psalm, to pray that psalm, to incorporate that psalm into the service, and understandably so. However, you don't have the 23rd Psalm until you have the 22nd Psalm. My God, why have you forsaken me? My help seems so far away. I cry out during the day, you do not answer, and during the night my prayers do not let up. The 23rd Psalm is preceded by the 22nd Psalm, and its richness of and articulation, and very descriptive of what the psalmist is experiencing. And we tend, as people, to try to rush through the 22nd Psalm. It's either an awkward pause in life, or it raises questions that we are uncomfortable answering. And so we try to push through the 22nd Psalm into the 23rd Psalm. I was listening to a individual who is in mourning, and they told me that it's their job now to move on and try to forget the person that they are grieving over, and forget what has happened. What I heard was try to move past the 23rd Psalm, 22nd Psalm, into the 23rd Psalm. That is how we do sometimes during Holy Week. We rush to get to Sunday, when for many people, Holy Saturday is what beckons us. You see here on this image the mention of Holy Saturday, but in reference to what is to come. Kate Bowler a professor of church history at Duke, author of Everything Happens for a Reason and Other Lies That I've Loved. In her mid to late 30s, was diagnosed with incurable cancer. And she writes concerning this. In her experience, it was during the Lenten season when she had received her diagnosis. She was in search of a surrounding that would connect to her experience. And she thought on Good Friday that she would be able to find people who were in grief, and people who were dressed in black, people who were hurting because it was Good Friday. And at the particular church that she went to for a Good Friday service, a very noteworthy church in the United States, instead of speaking of the grief of Good Friday, they were parading on the stage with crosses and declaring that Christ is risen. Once again, they were trying to move quickly through the Good Friday and Holy Saturday into the resurrection. They were moving from the 22nd Psalm into the 23rd Psalm, and in her estimation, Kate Bowler's, it was done so prematurely. I recall a instance while serving as a hospice chaplain. I was privileged to get to know a particular couple. I was present with them at the death of the husband. I knew that they were a church-going people. I knew that they had a pastor that they respected. And I asked the widow, maybe half an hour after her husband's death, if she would like for me to call for her pastor to come, because I knew that he would be there once he was informed. And her response was one that I will never forget. She told me she needed space to grieve before her pastor came and tried to assure her of the resurrection. What I heard was she needed to be in her 22nd Psalm before she was pushed into her 23rd Psalm, that she needed her Holy Saturday before she needed her first day of the new week. She might have even needed her awkward silence before she needed someone to come and to try to tell her that her grief should be limited, even perhaps. And this is what Holy Saturday is. It's a space for awkward silence. It is a space for grief. Theologically, it represents the end of the first week of time. That in Christ, history was rewritten. There was a re-beginning, a new beginning, and that was marked by the advent of Christ. This is why there is a significance as to what comes next, occurring on the first day of a new week. However, I can't go there today. I can't go into this part down here. I've got to remain here in the awkward silences. I've got to remain here in the 22nd Psalm, because it is Holy Saturday, a time to look back and reflect. May God's richest blessings be with you on this Holy Saturday.